John Erskine. We're here at Paradise Point, and you've been running this business now for 14 years.
Correct.
You left the corporate world, if you were. You were a doctor of chiropractic. What do you call it? How do you say that? Doctor of
chiropractic for 35 years. Yes.
35 years. And then one day, you had an epiphany of sorts, and you started this place, and now you've been doing this for 14 years. It's called Paradise Point.
Paradise Point.
And give us a little background. It's a quirky, unique. It's an experience to come here.
I appreciate that. That's what I like to call it. 14 years ago, I was bored and I wanted to come to the lake to buy a boat. And so there was a boat here and it had for sale sign on it. And I called the person and he said it wasn't the boat for sale, it was the building. And so he came down, and before I left that day, I bought the building. I wrote down on a piece of notebook paper and gave him all the money I had, and we made this silly contract. Then I had to go home and tell my wife that I didn't buy a boat, I bought a building. So we bought the building, kind of just there it was at the lake, it was empty, it had been several things, but nothing really worked. And we opened up an antique store, because when we were in Bowling Green, we used to have a place called the Boomerang on Broadway, and it was a vintage furniture and antiques and art. So we thought, well, we'll just do that up here. But what happened was everybody that came in the driveway would roll their window down and holler, "What do you got to eat in there?"
Wow.
So this was a former restaurant, and so it was still restaurant-like, so we decided we better come up with something to eat. And so I got on the internet and I bought a hot dog cart. And they told me exactly what to do, and I did it. And 14 years later, we sell anywhere between 400 and 500 hot dogs on a good weekend day.
And on 4th of July?
Last 4th of July, we sold over 2,000 on the weekend.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
That's a lot of hot dogs. Hebrew National, kosher, beef hot dogs, poppy seed bun, probably 20 items to put on them. It allows people to come every week, every day if they want, and change it around, and it just works.
You know, we were talking on the way here at the grocery recently. I was lamenting the fact that you got to go grocery shop, you got to pay for it, you got to bag it, you got to take it home, unload it, and the guy behind the counter looked at me and said, "Barb, food is how we choose life." You ever think about it in those terms?
Food is how we choose life.
Yeah.
I would have to process that a little bit, but I hope people choose to be a big hot dog.
When they're choosing
When they're
their
choosing,
food
that would be
from
my
Paradise
choice.
Point?
Exactly.
What's that? We were laughing because of the stretch of road that you're on. You get a lot of people making their way to other parts of the country. And you mentioned a funny story about how people look for bluegrass. When am I going to get to the bluegrass?
Bluegrass. We have, the best part about being on 31E is Nashville Airport drops into 31E. So a lot of people will fly in from other countries or from around this country to go to Opryland or Music City. But if they're going to travel, a lot of times they'll take these roads rather than the interstate. So 31E is one of the most beautiful roads to travel. Goes to Bardstown, Kentucky, where my old Kentucky home is. So we have regularly, and it's usually foreign people, and they want to know how much further till they get to the bluegrass. They want to see bluegrass. And we just tell them it's right down the road, just keep going. And it's really fun. There's so many people that show up at Paradise Point. I mentioned to my wife years ago, because I sort of, after I retired, I chose to maybe stay close to home and not travel as much. I have dogs and I have this place, and I told her anybody that I need to see will come here. And it's so true. People show up here, and I've met some of the most awesome people randomly. And in my practice, I met a lot of nice people, but I had a demographic, a small group of people that were going to come my way. Here, I have everybody that will come here. Any type of person is welcome here. If they don't get what I'm doing, they're going to leave anyway. So most people that love what's going on here, I will probably love them. Most people who don't get what I'm doing, they probably need to move on anyway, because that's how my life is now. I am going to give everything I can to people who want what I'm given, and if people don't want what I'm given, they need to move down the road.
I hope you'll continue the conversation. I'd love to hear from people who have been here and had an experience. And so we talked about the bluegrass, that's funny, and you probably could tell a million stories. But is there one visitor who stands out that just really left an impression and as they went on their merry way?
I wish I could pick one, but I got to tell you, I have met literally thousands of people that have been part of my life change, that have affirmed to me that what I'm doing is right. I love to talk with someone who's been down the path that I want to go down, and they give me the thumbs up and they tell me I'm right, that those things aren't important, this is important. I feel very blessed that I have a wonderful family, I have a wonderful business, I have a future, and it's got a lot of great future out here, and the people are part of that, and the people that are the most important to me are the ones who are going to share their life with me so I can share that with other people.
So if I want to come out and hang out at Paradise Point, how do I find it?
Super easy. 31E, we are at the Scottsville, Allen County, Barron County Bridge. So as soon as you cross that bridge, you are in Barron County. So we're right at the bridge at Barron River Lake in Scottsville, Kentucky.
So come on down and don't postpone the joy
Don't
any
postpone
longer.
joy.
Come out and have some fun here at Paradise Point. I'm Barbara Deeb for Coffee Near Me. Dr. John Erskine, thanks.
Thank you, Barb.